Okay, I believe we are streaming. I'll make sure. We're not really on the clock yet, but I want to make sure everything is good to go. And alrighty. Well, good evening. This is Dr. Nicola here, and I'm really excited today to do this. Now, I was planning on doing this on Wednesday. Devil got in the details. Tried to get into today, trying to get my little virtual assistant. She wasn't able to hook up, this and that. Everything was going wrong. You know what? It's all right because, hey, we're educators. We just don't stop. There's a little problem. So it was supposed to be live for Wednesday. Today is Thursday. So we're going to do it live now, and I'm going to save it. But like I said, today, I'm going to get comfortable because today we're going to talk about, I have my Payne College shirt on too. The Black History of Payne girl. Went to Payne College in Augusta, Georgia, 1882 by the United Methodist Church. I learned all that my freshman year. Yes, and I'm proud of that. All right, but let's move on. I digress rather. So we're talking today about assistance. Assistance meaning anyone that helps someone else make their job better or do a better job. We have paraprofessionals. Sometimes a paraprofessional is someone that works with kids, they teach kids, but they might not be certified, or they might co-teach with a certified teacher in the classroom. Those are paraprofessionals. Sometimes they call them teacher assistants. Then there's librarian assistants. A librarian assistant is like a secretary. Sometimes they call them media secretaries. There's also administrative assistants. Administrative assistants are what was called like the principal secretary, the secretary period. The point I'm trying to make is right now, especially now while we're in this pandemic, it is blaring that we need assistance. And if you're interested in becoming an assistant or you want to become a better assistant, just stay tuned. Stick with me. If you want to talk one-on-one, we can do that also. I can leave my information down below for you. But I just want anyone who is interested in this assistance work on the academic level, please contact me. All right. As I stated before, being an assistant is a very important job, and they're very much needed. It's very lucrative. If you're in the school system and you're a teacher's assistant, you might not be making the same money a teacher make, and you might be making the same amount a teacher make, because a lot of school systems, they'll pay you for how much education you have toward being an assistant. So, and another good thing about being an assistant also is you also get part of, if you're in the school system, you'll be part of the teacher retirement situation. So you will get teacher retirement based on your salary. But the thing about it, I think is so wonderful is the fact you're not under contract. I'm an educator, so when I get a job with a public school, I have to go under contract, meaning that for this amount of years, for this term, I'm working exclusively with this school system. And to get certified, sometimes, well, most of the time, all the time, you have to take a certification test. That could be kind of difficult for some people. What's great about the assistant, being an assistant, is maybe you just right now can't, you can't pass the test. You don't have the money to get the test, to take the test, or take it multiple times, because sometimes that test can be a bear. You might take it more than once. But being an assistant, you're able to be around education, especially you're a parapro or a library media assistant. You're around certified educators, and they can help you, teach you steps, test tips, or whatever. But it's just such an important job, and it's so needed. I mean, I was reading an article out of one of the Ed, I think it was Ed, I have it right here, Educational Journal of Education. It was stating how if you don't have enough parapros, they're learning now, especially during this time period, if you don't have enough parapros or assistants to help teachers in the classroom, you're really not teaching kids they're not reaching their momentum or where they could be, because you have this one teacher trying to differentiate different levels of reading and math, and you need that assistant in there. Assistants can be so powerful. uh Principal's assistants can be so powerful. My principal's assistant, I'm not going to call her name out, but Miss D, this woman is absolutely amazing. I'm talking about these are people that work on different levels, and they're happy to do it. They're happy to be where they are. I truly believe everybody needs to find their spot in life. And when you find your spot, you want to be the best in it. Don't be limited. Don't limit yourself. But still, everybody needs to find their spot where they're really good at. And these assistants, I know, they're top of the level. They're top of the top. They're cream of the crop. And that's what you want to be. And so you might have a position right now and you need a little help, because sometimes it's sad that, as teachers and educators, sometimes you can't work together. And I would hate not to get along with someone who I work so closely with. I mean, and even at the corporate level, if you're, or even an executive assistant, you're pretty much almost just like an executive. I mean, the lifestyle, the how you have to keeping this CEO or this manager, whoever you work for, on track. And even in the school system, it's the same thing. You keeping this person on track, you helping these kids to gain the knowledge they need and work on a certain level. And that's an important job. So that is something that I believe that if you're interested in, you should definitely look into. And especially now, we had a lot of retiring people going out. Go on your school system. Here in Georgia, it's called Georgia PATS, PATS, and go out there and look for assistant jobs. Jobs like these, if you have some colleges, college is good. You have a degree, that's great. But usually all you need is high school and maybe some courses if you're the secretarial, something like that. So that's what I wanted to talk to you all about today, is the power of being an assistant. Now, first of all, let's say you want to be an assistant. Now, an assistant, pretty much you're serving people. Now, my degree, I have a degree, a certification rather, in library science, and I have a teacher certificate, but they're all on one certificate. And under the library science, there's an S. And under my reading endorsements and all that, that's a T. The S stands for service. When you're in the library, you're giving a service. You're helping everyone else to pretty much use the curriculum to the utmost. When you're an assistant, you are serving. So if you have a problem with, in a way of serving people or helping people out or working with someone else, and you might not be the it girl or the it guy, then being an assistant is just not for you. I don't believe people should get an assistant job unless they really, really want to help. If they really want to do a good job and show others what they could do and help others. If you cannot do this, or you feel like you're too educated for this, being an assistant is not for you. You should be glad in whatever you do. If you're doing this, even if it's just for a moment, do the best you can be. Be the best you can be at it. I truly believe that if you dig a ditch, if you're a ditch digger, be the best ditch digger there is. That's the way I look at life, period. And that's how you look at your job. And being an assistant is a wonderful job. I mean, they're needed right now, especially. I would love a great assistant. I've had great assistants. I've trained great assistants. And most people who I've trained with great assistants, they went on to bigger and better things. And I've had other assistants. I don't know what their purpose was. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to look at an assistant job as an easy job or a pie job. This is not a job you can walk around and get off and duck and hide from work. If you're doing that, you're not going to be around long. The reason why I'm saying this is because, once again, you're not certified, meaning you don't have a contract, meaning I get rid of you. When you're in a contract, it's a little hard to make, unless it's really extravagant. But being an assistant, you don't want to do too many stuff to the left or whatever, because you just don't want to do that, because they have nothing to hold them back from getting rid of you. So you want to do the best job you can do. It's really important to do the best job you can do and go into it as if, yeah, this is my profession. Whatever you do, you should go into it with professionalism. You don't look at your job as, oh, I'm just this. Like some teacher and assistants will say, I'm the teacher. If that makes you feel good and makes you feel worthy, you don't have to, because most of these teaching assistants, they do bang up job. They do a great job. But you want to be able to do a great job. Now, one thing you should always do is when you're an assistant, think of yourself and put yourself inside maybe your manager or your teacher, whoever is your right above you. How would you want to be treated? I always go back to the golden rule. I mean, for one thing, don't get up there with a teacher or a librarian assistant or a principal, and when they ask you to do something, and I guess it's something that you may not want to do, and you say, well, you're the boss, or you'll say, oh, that's why they pay the big bucks. Really, that's causing, you just don't want to cause that kind of futile foolishness, because they know what they make and they know that they're the boss. And for you to say something like that is obvious. You must be don't know, because it's not necessary. We're all adults here. And that's what I find that can be difficult in working with parapros and media assistants and so forth, because they have this situation is, do you want to be here? If you do not want to be here, you should not do this job, or you should do it and realize, okay, I need to do something else as soon as possible. Because one thing you're not going to be happy with yourself, and the kids might suffer, the school might suffer, your professional reputation might suffer, because you don't want to go into something and it just explodes. So you really want to be careful. Like I keep on saying, do you want to be here first and foremost? Because you are definitely needed. Assistants are definitely needed, but good assistants. An assistant, in a way, is like a gatekeeper. So I had an assistant. She didn't mind. She used to say she was like my bulldog. I mean, she knew our situation. She knew when I was in the office a certain time of day, she's busy, come to me. That's a good assistant. A good assistant is someone who can help you and not push people away. You don't want staff or teachers, whatever, to feel like, well, when I go to so-and-so, it seems like I'm bothering them. Your facial expressions, all those things come into effect. It's very important. Now I want to talk a little bit, while we talked about, getting a job. Let's talk about those who are hiring. If you're in HR and you're hiring, there's more to training an assistant than just doing the background check. Anybody can finesse you with a good interview. A good interview, if you're you got anything about you worth anything about you, you can do a really good interview. Most people who are going to be an assistant in the education or on a corporate level, they have some form of education. These people are not dumb. You're not dumb. You're not lower level or anything. So of course they could get up here, probably give a really good interview, have loads of credentials and so forth. But it takes more than that when training an assistant. That's when you need to bring in someone else, i.e. me, because you need someone to train them on how to act and how to behave in this situation. And it might sound funny, how to act and how to behave. Teachers have to know how to act and how to behave around the parents. We all need to know how to act and know how to take care of our business. And you might be kind of, let's face it, if you're working with a scatterbrained teacher or a librarian, and you're not the best at organizing things, that could be a train wreck. Not because you two don't like each other, but you're just kind of different way you work with everything. And I believe that media assistants, administrative assistants, teacher assistants, parapros, any sort of assistant, they need training beyond, this is how your payroll is going to come out. This is how the insurance is. This is what we expect you to do. These are your sick days. These are your job descriptions. You could give anybody a generic job description, but you're going to need someone else to come in and train them to say, now you realize, no, those are only suggestions. Because you don't have time in HR to sit there and just say, okay, now these are what they expect of you. But now realize that everybody is different, and realize you might be working at two schools and you might need to work that out. You really need to sit down and talk to someone about those kind of things. And that's when you bring in someone else to do training with them, like me, or not me, someone else, because they need to, assistants need to know more than just this is the job you're going to do. You need to know how to do it. Everybody needs to know how to do their job. I went 4 years undergrad, 1 year library school. And you know who trained me when I first got my first job as a school librarian? My assistant. I'm going to say her name is Young. Ms. Young trained me. And I had 2 degrees. And she had an associate degree. She was a secretary. She had secretarial training. But I still, with all the 2 degrees, and I went through falling and everything, when I got to that school was different than what I learned in the college. And she's the one taught me how to be a good librarian beyond what I book learning. Because you need more than book. And when you find that there's a lot of assistants and library assistants and you're having struggles and it seems like personalities are not clicking, you need to break, you got to train. They need more training. It's more to being an assistant than just saying, okay, well, here you go. This is what expected of you. This is your schedule. It goes beyond that, because I don't think, I know for a fact, I've 21 years now, I've had a lot of assistants that some of them I really don't think they understand how this works. It really do. It's not about stroking anyone's ego, but ain't nobody gonna stroke yours either. We're here to work as a team. And to work as a team is, some people might need to be told, they expect you to be there on time. And then you're going to have some people who your middle management, your teacher or librarian, whatever, or assistant principal, who they don't mind documenting the fact that, you're not very helpful. You never want someone to say, I don't need them. Quick story. I was in grad school, going to be a librarian, and we had to do our practicum. Miss Solomons, I was at an elementary school, Miss Solomons, and during one of the breaks, she sat down and she said, Nicola, whatever you do, you might not have the prettiest library, you might not have the cutest this, you might not have the cutest programming, but you get in the best customer service you can, till when you're not around, they miss you. You want them to miss you. And that's what I'm about teaching people about my professional developments. You want people to miss you because they need you. They need you. You're pleasant for one. It's always good to be pleasant. But you don't want your works to speak for you. Let your work speak for you. Because as an assistant, talking about the power behind the throne, you can have all the power behind the throne if you're a good assistant. If I can trust my assistant, carte blanche. And it's the assistants that will run this thing. But you have to be humble. You have to know what you're here to, your purpose and what you're here to do. And if you do that, you'll be fine. You'll be golden. And back at hiring, you're going to need somebody to come in and train these people, because it's too much going on nowadays to have this kind of disconnect. And if things are not clarified, one thing people really don't want to hear is, because truthfully, if you're working in a school and you're working with a teacher or a librarian, your supervisor is the principal. It's when my position as librarian on a teacher position, you're like middle management, but that's our first, that's your first contact, is that middle management. Of course, it's the principal. Now, the principals don't want foolishness going on. They want everybody to try to get along because they got enough to deal with. So you need to have that harmonious understanding on how it works. And like I said before, my trainings are more in depth with the parapros and teaching assistants, or whoever it might be. I'm talking about how to get to work on time. I'm even talking about what kind of perfume you want to wear. You don't want certain things, you just don't want to wear. It's too close. And nowadays, everybody got allergies. It's certain colognes you just want to stay away from. I talk about that. I talk about like punctuality. I talk about keeping your own records, documentation. If your manager, per se, because like I said, your principal is your boss when you have your manager. If your manager doesn't sit you down and say, this is what I expect. Yes, the library department And yes, the school board will give you a list of this pretty list right here of all the things you should be doing as a librarian. But you know what? Or librarian assistant or a teaching assistant. But you know, I'm not high school, so I don't need that. And that right there, I don't need this. I don't need that either. So that's why that generalization, if you go in there and say, okay, I'm your new assistant and here's my jobs, and I'll just pick out what I want, how are you helping me? HR departments, how are they helping anyone if they're taking your generic job credentials and they picking out what they want? Are you helping me? Is that somebody who I feel like, gosh, I really miss them. I need them here. I really owe it. So and so's not here, and that's my backbone. That's my ace bone coon. If they're not feeling that way about you, you got problems. And a lot of this could be it's simply some of it is just soft skills. You know, that's an art that seems to have gone away. But soft skills are very important. That's another thing I teach about my assistants with my training, because that is going to be intricate. Oh, assistants. And if you are an assistant, maybe you want to brush up on it because we're getting ready to go back into school. You're going to have parents going to act like they don't know what it is. They don't understand the parent-teacher relationship anymore because they're going to be so glad their kids are gone. You're going to have kids that they're just off kill. They're just off the routine. They're going to look like they're new fruit in school. So you're going to need that cohesiveness with your fellow partner in your classroom, your library, in the front office, in the school board. You need that cohesiveness. You need that training. You really do, so we can keep the business or the machine that is education moving along. And you can't do it without a good assistant. You don't want to be a good assistant. You want to be a great assistant. And I'm here to help you become a great assistant. If you want a one-on-one, you can DM me. I leave all my information down below, but it's so important. And like I said, also human resource departments. Pass this on if you know you have somebody that's around trying to hire new assistants. You can do that, but you need that extra training on the back end because I'm an educator. I know what teachers want. I know what they want. A teacher knows what they want out of an assistant more than the person HR does. I know what I would want out of a librarian assistant more than HR does because I'm there in the classroom. So yeah, you pick these people with great backgrounds, checks, and the resumes to match. But then you're gonna also have to train them for the nitty gritty. Like, yeah, this is what we taught you about, but now we want you to get trained over here because this is what you're going to. This is who you're dealing with. I know different teaching types and some librarians, how certain librarians are this way or that way. And if you don't go in there with that open mind that I'm here to serve, like let's go back to it, you're here to serve. You're an assistant. Now, assistant doesn't mean, like I said, some of these jobs are assistant jobs, and whew, it's like you're almost executive. But that's in any job. Why is a paraprofessional job? You might say, well, they're not certified, but some paras do more teaching than teachers do. So you got to understand that's that yin and that yang. It works well together. So that's why it's so important that you get good assistants and you get your assistants trained. And if you are an assistant, like I said, if you need some tips on how to act, you feel like you have a really mean overlord of a manager, middle level teacher, or a librarian, you're like, oh, he seemed like they're just so mean. I just can't do nothing right in their eyes. And you really do want things to get better. DM me, contact me. Let's talk it out. We can have a consultation, and I can help you to deal with certain things. And half of the stuff is just simply, sitting down and saying, what do you expect of me? If your manager or direct supervisor doesn't sit down with you and give you the lay of the land, and they're not going to be talking about what the board gave you, these are my jobs. Yeah, they're suggestions. They're suggestions. But your librarian, your teacher, going to have the way that she runs things too. And that's what you're going to have to, you got to look at that. So you need to sit down and find out what they want. All right. When people come into my library, I don't tell them, Well, they say, I want Curious George. Oh, you don't want Curious George. Here's Clifford, the big red dog. He's better. And I'm not lying. I've had people, assistants act this way. Like, no, that's not what I asked you to do. And if you feel like this job is beneath you, then you shouldn't take it for one. And if you're already in it, please, please think about it. If you can afford it, try to find something else to do because it's not worth it. You're not going to find enjoyment in it, and you're going to make the whole situation unhealthy. Because if you feel you don't want to be an assistant to somebody, or all you could talk about is the great things you did on another job that doesn't concern this job, your mind is not in your job. And I'm here to just give you the straight talk. And that's why you need training beyond what HR does with most assistants. You get that basic training about what's this and how to do this and how to do that. No, you need beyond that because working with someone like that, that's personal skills. And if you don't want to be a team player, I mean, hey, look at this. I'm an educator for many, 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 many years. And still to this day sometimes, especially during the pandemic, I'd rather use my own computer. Now, we all know that if the district wants you to do work at your house, well, the district should to provide you with technology. But I also know I work for the public school system, and it's not a very lucrative private school system. So the children are going to probably be the first priority when you get into technology. So I might not, or I might not have, some of us not been able to get the best thing right away. And it's true, the board should get this for you. But this is the way you handle it. One way you handle it is this way. You talk to your supervisor, principal, or whatever, and say, Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, or at the board, you have a director coordinator, I need such and such. I don't have it. I could use what I have, but I really do need something. The school need to give me something because what I have at house is not very reliable, but I'm willing to do this until you can get me something better. I just want you to, look out for me because I'm telling you, old vet said the house is getting ready to break down, but hey, we got to keep the ball rolling. So I'm going to do what I can until I can tell you could do better for me. And see how you handle that? You don't come in talking about, well, the DeKalb County or Richmond County or APS or Miami-Dade County or whoever county you work for is saying that they want you to do such and such and they didn't provide you with what you needed right away. They're going to provide it, but also don't look too much like a team player. I'm just saying. I mean, everything you do is give and take, take and give. Everything is almost like a barter system. You give me, I give you. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. And some things are going to be tight. But the point of the matter is you're going to get paid regardless. And face it, if right now all you can use, all they can offer you is something older, or sometimes the stuff they offer you for the school, it don't really work too great at your house, so you wind up using your own computer anyway. And if you're worried about, well, they're using up my cable, they're using up my computer, write it off on your taxes. Pro tip, write it off on your taxes. And this is a good tax. It's going to be a good tax year because you can write off all that Comcast internet you done ran at your house, using your computers, using your lamps, using your webcam, all that. Board didn't buy all this. It's mine. Write it off. And I have don't get me wrong, I do have some issues, but I'm comfortable with what I have right here. And I like to work from here. I think I just like the quality of it. Not that what I have is bad. The point I'm trying to make is you make it work until you can do better. You make it work. You don't want to come off as not a team player. And I'm not talking about a tyrant person treating you bad and don't hardly speak and got you all anxious and you don't know what when the next shoe gonna fall. I'm talking about you come in there with good faith. I always go in with good faith. I always say, I take you like Lazarus. I let you show me who you are, like Lazarus. Now, if I see you're constantly late, there's always an excuse. You can't do no work. your toe hurt, your eyelashes hurt. Oh, I can't go. I didn't go his way. I gotta go this way. Oh, I need to do this. So I need to do that. Oh, I want to do this for this. And if that is nice, but one thing you don't even hardly know people that well. First off, that first year, just sit down and learn. Learn what's going on. Learn the lay of the land. Learn what your teacher or your supervisor wants and needs. And that's how you make a good relationship. What do you need me to do? Don't come to me and say, this is what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, okay, we'll have fun at that. When it comes down to it, I'm going to tell the board and my boss, I don't need her. She's not doing what I need. I don't need him. He's not doing what I need. He's doing something else that he feel I need. But you want to do what you think I need. It doesn't work that way. That's once again, I go back to the part. Do you want this job? Do you like this job? Is this what you want to do in your life for right now? Because it can be very fulfilling. Okay, it really can be. And and once again, TAs, paraprofessionals, they're the power. Let me tell you, it's like that. They're getting to know the bookkeeper, getting to know the teachers, the principal secretary, and getting to know the head custodian. In my position, where I usually was being a librarian, they're the people I need to know because I need to know I need to get things clean. I needed to get supplies. I need to get my books ordered. Them the people who you want to know. You want to get to know them. And if you're an assistant, you're in someone's classroom, you just can't look at it like, well, this is your class and I'm just here visiting. And it's not going to work. Like I said, whatever you do, put your best foot forward. And that's all you got to do. Once again, I reiterate, I never had my first library when I first started in 95. It was beautiful, brand new, all beautiful, just a show place. Ever since then, I just seemed like the libraries I go to decline. I became the cleanup woman, going in, change the culture of the library program, going change others. That was back in the day. And even then, I was like, oh gosh, I want to have something like her or a program like his. And I've had coordinators tell me over and over again, Nicola, what you have is good customer service, and that's what they're happy for. And they prove it. I mean, I've been teacher of the year. I know what needs to be done. I know what it takes to be a good, whatever position you're in, and especially being an assistant. So once again, like I said, it's so important, even if you're hiring, that you get that good extra training in. And if you're new to assistant and you just want some image consulting or you want some help with a certain situation, you don't quite understand what to do, or you just want me to come and speak to all your parapros or teacher assistants, I promise you will totally enjoy it. You will learn so much and it will make you think. Because we're sitting there and we're going to be real. I'm real with you. There's no need to be fake and phony. Not after what we've been through. If you lived through this, you could do anything. You could do anything. And it's not, now is the time. If you were sluggish and seemed like you didn't want to give your all to your job, what I mean all, I mean what's sensible. And I ain't about going too overboard myself, but to give your all in your job, you do 110% in your job, and you do the best you can. And if you do that and you feel that way about your job, you don't have to worry about what anybody thinks, how anyone feels, because you know you're doing the best job you could do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. And like I said, I would love to work with you all. If you want to come into your schools, you can do some virtual with your teacher assistants or parapros. Please go to our website. There's more information about the assistant training. I do a holistic training on assistants. Goes beyond what the school board does. If you're interested in anything like that, just DM me or text me, ultradidactic.com. You can go to my LinkedIn. Everything is down there. It'll be down in the description. And I'm so happy you joined me today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And like I said, this was a repeat of what was supposed to be done on Wednesday. So I went live, but I'm going to just post this. I recorded so I could post it. because we didn't go live. I had technical difficulties, but I was not going to be discouraged today. I did it. I came here for you all. So come back out for me. Leave any messages. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you're on YouTube. I'm also on LinkedIn. Like I said, if you need any, just DM me and I will be there for you. It was nice to hang out with you. Hopefully, we will actually get a live going so I can have you can talk back and forth with me. Let me know if you want to do something like that too. Sounds good. So until next time, goodbye, farewell. See you later.
The heat was low. Yeah, so you gotta go pay attention. All you do is you gotta go attention. So that way people will go. Right? So that's all. When you have talk about that. You know that a great organizer who is creating art. Yeah. And I think the boys we know the process, trade one day and something to do with the body. Second one, yes. So I think that well, like people that maybe yeah. You know, and we feel like we live in a people like yeah. I love you to be yourself. So I mean, like, yeah. Yeah. long kids and people, and all the time with my people. I was just kind of little, but now you know, so we just get hot, right? People, yeah, and I think they like, like, I don't know, and we have chat books and that book. But I think to see that, to see the battle like that, really just started out to move. That it was not, it was children that all that shit, when I together, when God didn't say, that's why I read it. Oh, yeah. They together the whole thing. She's all, exactly. Yeah, here's why I'm going to keep that yourself. Like you just inside the population. It's almost you know, maybe that it's not other people out in terms of the experience. So, they're asking for that, that, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, great. And then all the everybody scared of it. And that was just hard. And so, because 15 years, you know, you're coming there, what's happening? And that was more good. You did a good job. And we just, everything I looked at, home with the different groups, different labels, different relationships, we was all in. Like the big man was happening. Right? And what is happening? Culture, whatever happened, culture, that, whatever, culture, culture, the whole family was happening. And that, so, yeah, so, that was happening.
Like the side chick, man. You ain't watching it. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. That's what the wife said. The wife said, y'all need to get it out of